Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well on this Saturday morning. Lots to discuss on the show today, but before we do that, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe as well. The question I have for you this morning is in relation to Andre Onana. It is the big talking point at the moment, and I want to get your thoughts on Andre Onana. Should he be dropped from the Manchester United team? Should Altay Bayindir come in? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We will start the show off by talking about that. And there's loads and loads to get into. And we're going to start off with some really, really damaging quotes from Manchester United legend Peter Schmeichel. So Peter Schmeichel was asked about Andre Onana after the game on Thursday. On Thursday, after the game on Thursday against Lyon. And Peter Schmeichel said this. He says, "You never feel safe with Andre Onana in goal." He says, "There are so many issues that Amroim needs to sort out." He says, "I'm very uncomfortable pointing the finger at one player, but it's not great to watch at the moment. You never feel safe with Andre. You never feel like when you go 2-1 up, you always then fear the other team will come back and score." I completely agree. And I've said this since the beginning of the season. I've said that no matter what defender you sign, what striker you sign, what attacking midfielder you sign, whether Rashford stays, whether Sancho comes back, whether Antony stays, whether Casemiro needs to be sold, whether Ugarte, whatever, all of these talking points are genuinely irrelevant. I honestly think. Because whilst you've got Andre Onana in goal, you could have 10 new players sign in the summer. But whilst you've got a goalkeeper who makes 2 or 3 mistakes nearly on average every single game, you're never going to win football matches. We, as a fan base, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, I'm just going to say collectively as a fan base, ridiculed David De Gea because he made 1 or 2 mistakes in a season. And we said he's not good enough, he's washed, get rid of him. And some people in this fan base, started hate campaigns against David De Gea, that he needs to go, he's a disgrace, get him out of the club, right? We bring in a guy who, in my opinion, is no better at passing out from the back, I don't think. Realistically, I don't know what clips people saw when he played at Inter Milan, but whatever's happened at Manchester United, Andre Onana is not this ball-playing goalkeeper that we thought we were signing. I don't think. He thinks he is, but he's just not, right? And on top of that, he literally just makes mistakes every single game. Those 2 goals against Lyon, I mean, they were literally a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, both of them. And the fact that you've got a person like Peter Schmeichel now coming out saying that you never feel safe with Andre Onana, and even if you score a goal, you still feel like they're then going to score a goal as well. And the worst thing about all of this is our defence has actually improved, I think. Like, defensively, we have got better in the last maybe month or so, and we're not conceding as many chances. But all it takes is 1 or 2 shots against Onana, and at least he's gonna fumble one of them. And players know that. The crowd knows that. They know if they get on his back, the likelihood is he's going to make a mistake, and the opponents are going to score. So It's a really, really difficult situation. And I know me saying, effectively now the only option we have is to outscore teams. And I know that sounds kind of obvious because that's the point of football, but we are always going to concede goals whilst Andre Onana is our goalkeeper. But taking it back to the point, do we think that Altay Bayindir should replace Andre Onana? We're going to do a little poll. Let me get it set up right now. Whilst I'm setting up the poll, everybody who's just joined, please make sure to like the video. Let's try and get to 500 likes today. So let's do this. Should Onana be dropped for Bayindir? As well, I just want to say, guys, apologies for not doing a video yesterday. It was my birthday, so I had a bit of a day off. So I didn't do any videos yesterday. So if you're wondering where I was yesterday, everything's all right. It was my birthday, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a day off. No videos, no work. And I had a lovely day, so that was nice. All right, there we go. The poll is set up. Should Onana be dropped for Bayindir? Obviously, if you're watching the video back on repeat, you can get in the comment section. You can't get involved in the polls. They're only for the live show, which is around at 8 o'clock every morning we go live. So if you do want to get involved next time, make sure you do that. Right. Let's read a couple more of the quotes about Andre Onana then, shall we? So we then have a story coming out from, where is it? Samuel Luckhurst, saying that apparently Andre Onana believes he will be dropped by Ruben Amorim for Manchester United's game against Newcastle on Sunday. So that's coming out from the Manchester Evening News, that apparently Onana believes he's going to be dropped. And then you've got Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail saying that Ruben Amroim is set to make some big changes ahead of Manchester United's game on Sunday. So I think all roads are leading to Altay Bayindir coming in. Then you have another journalist this morning saying that Ruben Amroim is now strongly considering taking Andre Onana out of the firing line for the Newcastle game on Sunday, as well as the game against Lyon on Thursday. And you know what? I completely agree with this. I don't think Altay Bayindir is world class, but I think he deserves a chance. If I was Altay Bayindir, I'd be sat there saying, what the hell do I have to do to get into this team? You've got a goalkeeper that, I don't know if this is going to be harsh, but I was going to say he single-handedly got us knocked out of the Europa League last season. You know, some of his performances out of the Champions League, some of the mistakes he made in that Champions League last season are absolutely inexcusable. He was awful in the Champions League, and he's been, I would say, he's had a couple of good games here and there, but more often than not, he's not very good, I don't think. He can't pass out from the back. He doesn't command his area. He makes mistakes so often. He's just not a good goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. And I've said this for a long time, like the 3 priority positions for me this summer are a striker, because we didn't sign one last summer. We signed Xerxes, who isn't even a striker. We need a striker, okay? And we also need a goalkeeper and a central defensive midfielder and a right wing back. Those are kind of the 4 priority positions. I don't think we need a centre-back at the moment. We probably do need a central attacking midfielder as well, but it's whether we have enough money to be able to do that. So my order of preference, I would say a striker and a goalkeeper are kind of joint priority for me. Then I'd say probably a central defensive midfielder, then a right wing back, and then a central attacking midfielder. 5 signings I think we need in the summer. And I'm not saying we'll sign 5 players and then we'll win the league. I'm saying 5 players to get us in the top half of the Premier League, you know, to maybe be fighting for top 6. And I know that sounds embarrassing, but I think that we are in that position where it is baby steps. You know, it's like we're not going to go from, what are we now, like 14th, 13th? We're not going to go from there to winning the league. I mean, it might happen. Leicester City won the Premier League. No one expected that. But realistically, it is going to be baby steps. And I think until we sort out this problem with Andre Onana, it's, you know, nothing's going to happen. Thank you to everyone who is wishing me a happy birthday. Lumen says happy 25th birthday. Wow. Not quite 25. Add another 6 years onto that and you'll be at the magic number. If you've got any mathematicians in the chat. But thank you very much, everybody, for the birthday wishes. I had a very nice day yesterday. Probably have a nice day as well today. So, yeah, thank you very much. And apologies for no video. Let's see what else we've got in the chat today. Happy 21st. Harry says, I quite like what I saw of Altay Bayindir. If he plays well, do you think that Amroim could possibly put him in as first choice goalkeeper? I mean, anything could happen, Harry. You know, like, it is a possibility, but I'm not convinced that Altay Bayindir is good enough to be starting every week for Man United, to be honest. But I say that we're 13th in the Premier League, so he probably is good enough to start for a Premier League team in 13th place. I should rephrase that to say, is Altay Bayindir good enough to start for a team who want to be in the top 4? I'm not convinced. But is he good enough to start for a bottom half Premier League team? Definitely. 100%. So, yeah. I think for the rest of the season, I would drop Andre Onana. I would try to sell him to Saudi in the summer. There's stories that apparently Saudi clubs are circling for Andre Onana. Yeah, so I would be definitely looking to move him on if that was a possibility, you know. But whether it is or not, we'll have to see. That's the biggest question, isn't it? Whether or not Altay Bayindir is going to be good enough to see us through to the end of the season. That's the question. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do we think Altay Bayindir is good enough? Do we think that he's better than Andre Onana? I mean, I would say yes, but at the same time, we haven't really seen that much of Altay Bayindir. Goalkeepers do make mistakes, players do make mistakes, but it's just the rate at which It's the rate at which he's making mistakes. That's the problem for me, and it's just too much. It's constant. It's every few games he's making like an absolute horrible mistake. So yeah, I think he has to be dropped, you know? He has to. Otherwise, if I was one of those players in that team, I'd say, like, why is he not being dropped? He cost us a win against Lyon. If we'd have beat Lyon the other night, it would have looked way better going into that game against Lyon at home. Whereas now, anything could happen in that Lyon game, I think. You know, it's completely 50-50 now. It's in the balance. We might beat Lyon 3-0 like we did against Sociedad in the last round. Like, maybe we convincingly beat them and everything's great. But at the same time, you know, we could easily lose that game. Is it on Thursday? Yeah, it's on Thursday, isn't it? So, yeah, very interested to see what you guys all have to say, though. So make sure you get into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Altay Bayindir, is he the answer? Let me know your thoughts. Right, let's move on from that, though, and let's jump over to... Let's talk a little bit about Matheus Cunha, okay? Let me have a little sip of my tea. Lumen says, who would you get rid of first, Onana or Rasmus? 100% Onana. Not even, there's no doubt in my mind about that. 1,000% Onana would go before Rasmus. Rasmus is 22. Rasmus shouldn't be starting as the main striker for Man United. We can all agree on that. He would probably even say the same himself, that he, you know, it would be better for him to have a world-class striker around him to help him kind of grow. So yeah, I think it would definitely be Rasmus. Sorry, it would be Onana out of the door for me before Onana. But again, you can let me know if you disagree. I just personally don't think. Rev says, we don't actually know how good Altay is. He may be a top 4 keeper in time. He's only played a handful of games. I'd rather have him than Onana in goal. I agree with you definitely, mate. I agree that I would rather have Bayindir in goal than Onana, 100%. And I agree that we don't know how good he is yet. But the thing that kind of baffles me is, if he's this good, why is Andre Onana still starting over him every single game? That's the bit that I don't understand. Is there something in Onana's contract? Does he have to play a certain amount of games? Is there some weird situation going on like there maybe was with... Was it Rashford? Do you remember before there was like rumours going around that apparently Rashford had something in his contract and Bruno has something in his contract and like all of these different things? I don't know. I don't know what the truth is on any of it. But it does seem strange. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, this is just like a conspiracy that you hear people talk about. That's the question. Do we think there's a chance that, you know, Ruben Amroim looks at them in training and maybe Andre Onana is considerably better than him in training? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I just think it's a little bit strange. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment section and yeah, we'll see. Right. Right, what have we got coming up next? Let's talk about Matheus Cunha. Okay, so the story this morning is saying that apparently Manchester United are... it says Matheus Cunha has apparently said yes to Manchester United. Now, I don't really know what that means. I mean, he said yes. Is he a Manchester United fan? I feel like he might be, you know. I feel like I've read that before, that Matheus Cunha is a Manchester United fan. If someone can fact check that for me, that'd be really, really appreciated. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've read before that he's a Manchester United fan. I think he'd be such a good signing. I think he'd be a really, really, really good signing. Yeah. But obviously, let me know, like, is Matheus Cunha the player that you think would solve our problems, or is there somebody else that you have up your sleeve? That's the kind of question that we have here. I think he would be a good signing. I do. I think the money involved in it might make it a little bit difficult for us. He does have a release clause. Let me check the release clause. I think it's 60 million. Let's have a look. There's so many teams interested in Matheus Cunha. That's the problem. It's £62 million release clause. Do you know what's really interesting, right? Manchester United tried to sign Matheus Cunha before he signed for Wolves. He was at Atletico Madrid, and I remember we were linked to him all summer. He would solve a lot of problems, though, Matheus Cunha, because he can play as a striker, which we need. He can play as an attacking midfielder, which we need. And he can also play as a winger. So if Garnacho left, he would be a like-for-like replacement, but would offer us like 3 positions opposed to Garnacho, who really, for me, can only play as a wide winger, and that's it. So if someone said to me that Garnacho would leave for 50 million and we'd sign Matheus Cunha, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think he'd be an absolutely phenomenal signing. I think he would be great. But as I said, all of the stories coming out this morning are suggesting that Manchester United will need to sign players to sell players in order to sign Matheus Cunha, So it's not going to be an easy deal to do. He does have this release clause, which makes it a little bit easier. Looking at his stats for this season, he has been absolutely, I would even go as far as saying prolific. He's got 17 goals and assists in 26 games, and that's playing for Wolves, which is phenomenal. He's their star man. I would love to see him at Manchester United. And realistically, I don't think 60 million is actually that unreasonable. But like I said, it's whether we can bring the funds together in order to do this deal. That's the biggest talking point here. Hopefully we can. Hopefully we have a massive summer, but we'll have to see. So let me read a couple of the stories quickly about Matheus Cunha. So the first one I've got for you is from Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic. He is reporting this morning that Manchester United are now strongly considering signing Matheus Cunha and Liam Delap this summer. It says the signing of both players is considered plausible if United are able to sell well, which is what we just said. And then he also says that Matheus Cunha is regarded at Manchester United as a player who is at his peak, who could make an instant impact, adding more experience than the younger profile of recruit they are prioritising. He's only 25 as well, remember, so he's still very young. Matheus Cunha could easily come to Manchester United, be here for 2 or 3 years, be world class, and then a Real Madrid could come knocking. And that's unfortunately the model that Ineos are looking for. They're at the moment looking for players with resale value. We know that. They're signing young players like Lenny Yoro, like Patrick Dorgu, like Aiden Heaven. You could even say Manuel Ugarte. Like, they're signing players around the age of 20. And the reason for that is because they want players who are going to have a resale value, which is horrible. They're not prioritising players. I don't know if horrible is the right word. It's a tactic, isn't it? It's more of a business tactic. They're signing players where instead of getting players towards the end of their career, which I think is a mistake as well, or instead of signing players in their prime, they're trying to bring in players, develop them, and then if somebody comes and offers us 80 million for a Lenny Yoro in the future, they'd probably sell them, So, I mean, business-wise, it makes a lot more sense, but I would still hope that we'd be able to keep... if Lenny Yoro turns into one of the best centre-backs in the world, I would hope that we'd still be able to keep him. But in reality, if that happens, you could see a Real Madrid coming in or a Barcelona coming in or whoever. But Matheus Cunha is a little bit more developed, He's a little bit more... He's a lot further ahead in his path than someone like a Lenny Yoro. Right. Anyway, what else have we got here? So yeah, we'll see what happens with Matheus Cunha. There's a bit of a weird story coming out this morning that apparently Marcus Rashford might be coming back to Manchester United. I don't buy it. I think Marcus Rashford and Manchester United story is done. I think this is just, again, mass hysteria, from the mainstream media to try and conjure up a story. So I'm not going to read into this too much, realistically. I think the likelihood of Manchester United giving Marcus Rashford another chance is relatively slim. But yeah, you never know in football. If we don't manage to sell anybody, and that's our only option, then who knows? But yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen, because I just think, I don't know. I just don't want Marcus Rashford back at Manchester United. It's as simple as that. And that's not me throwing shade on Marcus Rashford. I just think I'm sick of talking about it. It's clearly not worked at Manchester United. Let's move him on. Let's be done with it. And let's try and move forward a little bit more positively, So yeah, but right, where are we now? I think that's everything I had planned for the show today. Lumen says, Kieran. Yeah, Lumen says, Kieran, do you think our owners are lying to us about not having any money? Maybe. Hard to say, innit? I mean, realistically, it would be a pretty stupid idea to come out and say, we have loads of money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that wouldn't be a particularly good business tactic, would it? It's better to say they don't have any money and try and like lowball people. But in reality, we know that Manchester United do have money. Like, they do. Not much, but they'll have probably 50 million, I imagine. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching the show today. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be back tomorrow morning as normal. We have got a match tomorrow, so we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Have a great Saturday, everybody. If you are in the UK, go and enjoy the weather. I think today is the last... I think it's the last sunny day for a little while, so go and enjoy the sun. I say that, it's only 18 degrees now. But anyway, have a nice day, whatever you're doing. And... yeah, we'll speak tomorrow. Bye-bye.